Good morning, traders. I'm Dennis Dick.
And I'm Joel Elconin. Welcome to Pre-Market Info.
What a crazy, crazy, crazy market this was yesterday. It's been pretty crazy overnight here, Joel, too. We've been down 1542.25, up at 1558, so 16-point overnight range, too.
Right, dipped just a point below the close. 1543.50 was the close. We got the 42 and a quarter. 14-point rally here. Minor number here, 1555 I have as a swing number for today. So as long as we hold 1555, look to go north. But boy, there's not a lot in there going back up to the 1570 level, just kind of like the way we came down.
Yeah, all air on the way down. Show yesterday's chart, all air on the way down, obviously. So, there's going to be some air on the way up. It's just a matter of how far we can rebound before the people who were caught long this start to come out and start to play. What's that little
We
spike?
were discussing,
Go.
yeah, we were discussing a little bit though about just kind of like the delayed reaction to the Boston news.
Yeah.
I mean, that came out at 250, and at that time the market was still kind of hanging in there.
Yeah.
And really didn't. It took about a half hour to digest that information until we got whoop going into the
I
close.
think there just wasn't. I think that's exactly it. It was slow, even being reported by the media. Like, okay, well, there's been an explosion. Oh, there's been a second explosion. So, an explosion could mean one thing. It could have been, a gas leak. It could have been anything. When they said the second explosion, obviously then everybody thinks terrorist attack. But yeah, it was a slow. It wasn't like the market fell 3 or 4 points when that news was initially reported, the S&P, and then kind of hung in there, and then slowly started drifting down as it became more apparent, obviously, that this was some type of terrorist attack, and the market obviously closed very, very weak. Went down actually after hours. You can see we actually got a little bit weaker after hours, but then started to pop, and we've had a slow, steady climb here all night. You got the Goldman Sachs chart up there, Joel. I think you're telling me something. Goldman Sachs reports earnings 429 against estimates of 388. The revenue was good too, 10.09 billion versus 9.6 billion. Got the initial pop. The stock was up a couple of bucks here, but has slowly started giving it back. Is actually trading flat now, 146.30 after closing at 146.46.
Yeah, what's up with that? They blow away the number. They get a pop. 149.65 is a level that we hit just a half hour ago. We're good $3 off that. That's pretty interesting move for good news here. But let's take a look at that. Where we're trading. 146.08 has been the low in the pre-market. Currently trading at 146.50. If you go into yesterday's range here, you had a low at 145.43, closed at 46.46. So I just use that 146 pre-market low number here down to 145.43. I think if you can play it from the long side in that area, you're limited risk.
I don't agree with you whatsoever on that.
You don't agree with
no,
me?
not
Okay, tell me.
not
No?
whatsoever. I don't think you're limited risk here at all, because here's the company reported earnings, blew them away. It's not rallying on it. That's telling you something. Like, okay, well, now it just ticked up to 147, so it's making me out a liar. 147.46. So Joel already made a point here. If he could have bopped down there. But regardless, when the companies report good earnings, they don't. You got to sit back, let it digest. If it's trading there 10, 30, 11 after it's already digested, then your risk is limited. But use your reference points. He's given you a good reference point. What is that low of that number, Joel?
145.53 was yesterday's low. We've only ticked down to 146 in the pre-market. So that's an identifiable area of support.
It's a good level. I'm maybe jumping on your words there a little bit, because if it takes that level out, if it goes out there, it's a lot of air below there. So I don't know if you have limited risk, but as long as you get out, if it starts to take out that level, because I think you're pretty open down to the 144 area if that 146 caves. No? You agree with me or not?
Oh, no, I agree. I'm agreeing with you.
Since we were arguing here a little bit this morning. Okay, Coca-Cola reported earnings here too. Oh, you went to Johnson & Johnson. Okay, we can go with Johnson & Johnson. Now you went to Coke. I'm mixing them all up here this morning. J&J, $1.44 versus $1.40, 17.5 billion versus 17.42 billion on revenue. So J&J beats on the top, beats on the bottom. Stock up $1.10 here this morning, trading 82.82. Look at that big 83 number kind of jumps out at you.
Yeah, wow, this thing had quite the reversal yesterday. You did have a double top at 82, 95, 96. Probably a big offer there at 83 that the high freaks were leaning on. So they take out the 83, they go to 83.09, and then it just came back below that 83 level, tanked down to the low, 81.71, closed on the low. You got to keep an eye on Edwards, a buck away from there now, but 81.74 was the low that you had on last Wednesday. But I still be targeting this whole $83 level as major resistance. Are trading at 82.87, so still 83 being as targeted as a level. 83 is the high in the pre-market, so 83, 83, 83 in Johnson and Johnson.
What is that actual high there, Joel? If you go and grab the actual number, 8309, is that what it is? I'm trying to grab
Oh,
it myself.
83.09 was the high yesterday. 83 even is the high in the pre-market.
Okay, so 83 the high in the so 8309 is the all-time high on this thing. So
Correct.
that's something to think
Correct.
about there too. Coca-Cola. Full disclosure, I do have a short position on in Coca-Cola, which I just put on right now because it's sitting up
Well,
here.
I thought you would be long it.
It's sitting
Because
up
it's
here at the
going up.
all-time high. That 41.41 is obviously the all-time high. It's sitting right up here right now, trading 41.50. I kind of am. I don't know if I love this one here. I'm sitting here looking at it. It's been a slow drift up here since they reported earnings. 46 cents against 45, so they beat by a penny. It's a big move up for Coke. I'm looking at it being up a buck 40, opening right into that 41.50 resistance. I'm taking a shot. I don't know if it's going to work here or not, but I'm just hoping it doesn't open over that all-time high.
Yeah, well, if you want to kiss of death on this one, I do like it here as a possible short here. You did have the all-time high at 41.41, trade up 41.50 in the pre-market. Coke up a buck 45 on 140,000 shares. Here's a stock trades millions of shares in a day. I mean, I wouldn't get too greedy on this, if
Yeah.
if it's when it starts to pull back, perhaps throw them out at 40.99 was yesterday's high, so 41 would fill the gap, but probably don't feel like it's going there right now.
Yeah, it's it's just been a slow steady. It's kind of consolidated a lot here. It was a little bit choppy off the bat when they initially reported earnings, probably about 45 minutes ago. So it's been a slow, steady riser here, and sometimes that's a little bit of a concern. But I'm just hoping, there's some institutional selling pressure that maybe keeps this thing below the all-time high off the hop. If it can open in the low 41s, I would probably cover that position. If it starts to continue to drift up here in the pre-market, I probably get nervous on my short. But we'll see what happens here. I'm using that whole 41.50 area as my bogey. USB, U.S. Bancorp, reported earnings here too. 73 cents against estimates of 73 cents. They're a bit light on the revenue. 4.87 billion versus 5.03 billion. It's been a quiet pre-market for this one. Only 3,200 shares have traded, and really hasn't traded much away from 33.20. So now it actually ticked up to 33.50. So it looks like it's going to be a pretty quiet open here for USB.
Right. Took a shellacking yesterday along with the rest of the market. 33.28 low with the 31 close. So that's going to be your support point here. Also had a low at 33.18 and 33.24 on April 5th and 8th. So you got a real good support level to keep an eye on. Below that, could be looking at the 32.80 level. Coming back on the upside here, opened right near the high yesterday, 33.98 open, 34.01 high. So gets back into the rally mode. I think we'll find resistance at the double top, 34.01 to 34.09.
Love that 34 area. I agree with you on that one. We're agreeing here now. We didn't agree off the show. And last couple we're agreeing here on. It is scary when we agree. 34 bucks. I love that number. I think if it gets in the higher 33s, I think people will take profits. BlackRock, BLK, reported earnings here too, 365 versus 358, so it's a beat for BlackRock. It is lifting up here on 1,000 shares in the pre-market. It's up 5 bucks, 358.50.
When I was looking when the news came out, and I took a look at it, and I'm like, well, there's really nothing between 255 and 260. And lo and behold, it trades a whopping 200 shares at 260.50. Let's take a look at the range from yesterday. You did exceed that 260 level. You went to 262.46. Boy, that'd be another $2 from the high. I'd still be using that pre-market high at 260.50 as a potential exit point. And for any of you guys that have the stomach to trade these $260 stocks, there's absolutely nothing between 255 and 260.
Yeah, and I like that double top. If the rally does continue, that whole 265, 57, 265 area from the 11th and the 12th, you got that double top up there. So that might provide you some initial resistance if the rally continues. With these $258 stocks, these are tough to trade. These things, move around $1 or $2, especially on earnings. Like, they're basically, this thing's probably going to have a 5 or 6 point range here. So it's difficult to trade these $200 stocks. Speaking of $200 stocks, well, let's talk about the $400 stock in Apple. 419 holds again yesterday there, Joel. That Apple 419 level is obviously the number that everybody is looking at. I don't want to be long this thing when this thing breaks eventually. If it breaks, it is getting a little bit of a pop with the overall market here this morning, trading up at 422.78. Stifel Nicholas did lower its price target down to 600 from 650 here this morning. Doesn't seem to be affecting the stock because it's still getting a little bit of a lift.
Yeah, even with the S&P's up 13 points here, there's a chance you could take out that 419 area. I think number one, I think it's a good place to cover short if you've been, holding this thing. Second of all, if you're thinking of buying this thing, always you get the dip and the rip. If sometimes you go 419 and you don't cover there, then it goes to 416.5, and you're thinking what a genius you are, and then all of a sudden it comes ripping back to that 419 area. So keep an eye on that as possible support point. Looking at the pre-market activity, look at this. 424.45 is what we've hit in the pre-market. Really not much up until Monday's high at 427.90. But boy, how many times in the last few days is Apple just kind of opened up near the high and just been a slow leak all day?
Yeah, I know. It just can't get anything going. It's really over the course of the last 4 or 5 months. Obviously, it just cannot get anything going, and it continues to show weakness. And I've just got this ugly feeling that eventually this 419 level is going to go, and if that 419 goes, it could be, a quick fall to 400. So I do not want to be long this thing at that 419 level caters. Target cutting guidance here, Joel. Caught me by surprise a bit. Target looking at Q1 98 cents. Estimates were up at $1.10 to $1.20, so it's a small cut for Target. Huge overshoot on this again off the bat. I guess the news algos just got really excited, knocked this thing down. What's that low there, Joel? 66.30 or something?
Boy, the low that you just hit in the pre-market, you got below 66.50, you got to 66.29.
66.29.
Since then, 66.29. Since then, you've recovered right back up to the $68 level. Let's look at it in the context of the range from yesterday. Yesterday's low was 68.46. That's another 50 cent away from here. I would use that as resistance. Coming back on the downside here, trading at the low from April 5th at 67.18, but below that I'd use the 67.55 level.
And look at Walmart here too. It did have a sympathy sell-off with it. Walmart's come back too, though. If you look at the pre-market chart, when Target reported that news about 8:01, so just slightly after 8 o'clock, Walmart got smacked down to 77.60. It's trading back up here at 78.20 right now. Obviously, with Target only being down 40-50 cents, Walmart to be down 30-40 cents, I doubt that holds. I wouldn't be surprised if the stock has a slow, steady climb back. But it's hard to say. It all depends on Target. Obviously, Target opens down $1 or $1.50, then it's going to put pressure on Walmart too.
Yeah, just to point out, the daily levels on these stocks. But if you're a day trader, swing trader, whatever, momentum trader, you had the low in the pre-market at 77.59. Going back a few days here, actually going back to Friday, you had a low at 77.58. So that whole level, excellent support. Coming back on the upside here. Going up to the close, I think if we can get above that 78.47 close, you could be scooting right back up to that $79 level.
A couple other ones I just wanted to highlight here. Actually, CMA reported earnings. I don't think it's even had a trade here yet, though, so there's not going to be much to say on this in the pre-market. 70 cents versus 68 cents. So they did beat, but with zero trades, it's hard for us to do a pre-market analysis on something that hasn't traded
Oh, I
yet.
can.
Well,
I
Joel will
can.
find you that support level. I think he's looking at 33.5 level. What are you looking at?
34.13 was the low and the close from yesterday. You only need to go back a few days to the 8th. It had a low at 34.08, so that's your nice support level. You take that out, you will get under the $34 level, or may get under the $34 level at 33.55. Coming back on the upside here. I mean, just a lot of real estate here to cover back up to the $35 level.
Let's talk about the gold and silver because wow, that was just a crazy, crazy day for the GLD. It is bouncing back here this morning. We are up $3.34 on the GLD, trading up at 134.62. We'll let Joel get the pre-market chart so he can actually show you the bounce right now. And there it is. So yeah, bouncing back here a bit. I mean, we cut under 130. Bouncing back, we're up to 134.78. So it is a pretty good bounce. If you're picking bottoms, you're getting rewarded a little bit here in the GLD.
135.77 was that spike in the pre-market in the GLD. So far, the low, which you hit after hours yesterday at 130.48. Let's look at those levels in the context of yesterday's range. Yesterday's high was 136.75 and the low is 130.51. So let's look at just try and identify the support here. That 130.51 low was confirmed by the pre-market activity. Going out to the monthlies here, you had a low way back here in February of 2011 at 129.28. So I expect I mean, we're now 5 points away from here, but I think if anything, you can get a couple days of consolidation at this area, and if you don't have the low retested here at 130.51, you may have a little bit of a bottom on this one.
What about silver? We're getting an 88-cent bounce here in silver to 22.97. Obviously, these are all a little bit overdone in the short term, so a little bit of a bounce isn't surprising. But I always get scared. I mean, there's a lot of people that are absolutely buried on this, so I don't think it's going to be this flyback, on silver to get back to 25 bucks or anything. I think there's too many people that are seriously underwater here, and every time, you can say, oh, there's a gap in there, there's nothing in there. It's a lot easier to fill a gap on the way down there than it is on the way up, and I don't think, and I don't think you're going to see, this thing back at $25 anytime soon. It's nice that it's getting an 85-cent lift here, and it's been as high as 23.10 or 23.12, but
23.15.
23.15.
Yeah.
But I just think there's going to be a lot of nervous longs here that are looking for every opportunity to lighten up their positions.
Yeah, you hit a 21.96 low with a 22.09 close, so still a buck away from there. Now that you get any kind of pullback here, I expect some bids to be filling in here, all in the 21 handle. If we get back there, I mean, we're still a buck away from there. But one thing about the gold and silver, they just gap all over the place. Obviously, you got a gap up here this morning. If you got stuck long with this thing, and it's just really, I mean, there was a lot of damage inflicted in the market, a lot of damage inflicted in gold and silver yesterday, and the market's bouncing back, getting up there. But I have to agree with you. I just think unless you have some kind of international crisis and a reason to own gold, it's going to be a slow grind here back up to the $25 level.
Overall market talk here. We're now up 14.5 points, so the steady climb continues here in the pre-market. I just noticed Target too actually ticked up. It's only down 20 cents now. That's impressive after being down over $2. Target has basically got back all of its losses. Walmart just ticked positive there again too. 78.40 actually is where Walmart is too. So both of those stocks, which were beat up about 40 minutes ago, have come back significantly, and the market is still continuing to climb.
Okay, 1559.75 is what we hit pre-market high not too long ago. I mean, you got to keep an eye on that level. I don't have a significant level to correspond to this, but 1560, nice round number. Also, another thing to take note here: a lot of stocks in the Big Ten close right at or near the lows of the day. So you got to figure some market makers and some specialists, had to suck up that stock on the close. The sellers and go long. I'm sure they'll be using this pop as an opportunity to exit. So I'd like to see us, dance around this 1560 level. We've already had, roughly an 18-point range in the market, which is really almost the average daily range until you take out the big move yesterday. So looking for the market perhaps to top out early this morning and then back and fill perhaps down to the 1550 level.
Well, that's our show for today. Have a great trading day, and we will be back with you tomorrow.